the long-awaited debut of Penta in the WWE. It's hilarious, Andy, because I read on Twitter, somebody said that Penta felt like a superstar in 5 seconds in the WWE, way more than in 5 years in AEW. Hard to argue that, but what an incredible debut tonight against Chad Gable. Broke out the Mexican Destroyer, as Pat McAfee called it, the Penta driver to finish him off. What a debut, man, for Penta. But that leads me to big question number 2. And that is, we've seen so many stars come into WWE and establish their legacy as WWE guys. Mainly a guy like AJ Styles, who did so much outside of WWE. Then when he came to WWE, it's not like we forgot about what he's done previously, but he really set himself up as a WWE guy. So, how does Penta cement his legacy as a WWE guy?
Honestly, after tonight, I think he can cement his legacy as this generation's Rey Mysterio in a lot of ways. And what I mean by that is the reception he got tonight. I figured there was going to be people in the crowd that knew who he was because he's Penta and he's viral on the internet with some of the stuff that he's done and some of the stuff that he's able to do in the ring. But they were in love with Penta tonight. And it wasn't just like because he was the new guy coming in. He won them over in the ring. He won them over with the promo he cut after the match where he started speaking in English and then broke out into Spanish, and that place went nuts when he was speaking. Yes. I could see him being this generation's Rey Mysterio, of a guy that you see in the ring who is not the biggest, who's probably not the strongest, but just does stuff that no one else is able to do in a style that no one else really does. And I love that about Penta. I think I think the ceiling is high for him in WWE. I think he could be a guy where I'm not shocked if he wins the Intercontinental Championship within the year. I'm not shocked if he wins the U.S. title within the year. I'm not shocked if he's a world champion within the first 5 years. Like, I think he could be that caliber of guy. I also think whenever Ray gets free and comes and joins him in WWE, those two guys are going to completely change the tag division in that company, and it's a change that needs to happen. It's a change to quickening the pace. And can you imagine a tag division where you've got DIY, you've got the Lucha Brothers, you got Motor City Machine Gun, you got the Usos if you want to put them back together. Obviously, the New Day can still go when you put them with the right team. You've got War Machine. You've got all of these tag teams that are absolutely killing it, but you put the Lucha Brothers in there, and they completely change it. But I think Penta's going to have single success. I think he's going to absolutely kill it. And tonight, I think, was proof of that. I didn't know what to expect with his debut. It's really weird seeing him on WWE TV. Thought he was one of those guys I would never see walk through those doors.
Right.
But it seemed like this was a moment that he had been waiting for a long time. And you can tell how much it meant for him to be there. And so I'm all on board. I've always been a big Penta fan. I am bought in now. I'm locked in. And I cannot be happier for the guy. He absolutely killed it tonight.
Yeah, he really did. San Jose was the perfect place for him to debut. You were mentioning Ray a minute ago. Let's clarify. Talking about Ray Phoenix, his tag partner in the Lucha Brothers, who is still under contract in AEW. Lots of rumors of him coming over as well. It seems to be inevitable at this point that he will join Penta in WWE. But we mentioned Rey Mysterio. You said that he could be this generation's Rey Mysterio. Look, I want to show this graphic too. Earlier today, we all thought this was a leak. We all thought WWE Shop made a huge mistake when they released the Penta merchandise early. They released a tweet basically saying that he was debuting tonight. They said, look at the new Penta merch. And we were all like, well, it's no secret now. Andy, I think that goes to show your point in that how much faith WWE does have in Penta and how much they want to make a big splash with Penta, not just in the tag division. I'm sure they'll use him when Rey Fenix comes over and it'll be fine. But like you said, single success for this guy. Who knew he could cut a promo the way that he cut a promo tonight? But you put a microphone in his hand, especially in front of a largely Hispanic crowd that can get behind him like San Jose, man, holy cow. What I do want to ask you about, though, is it seemed like 2 weeks ago that he was going to be the mystery tag partner of Rey Mysterio. And then that match seemingly got put on the shelf. That didn't happen. And then we saw the storyline last week with Chad Gable where we knew it was going to be Penta. I mean, obviously, I don't know that we know what happened there. I'm sure it wasn't that they had planned the match and then they canned it day of. I wouldn't think that because they had Rey Mysterio in the crowd. I don't know, though. I think this was the better way to do it, though, because like we talked about, I had fears of him getting saddled with the LWO. Not now.
No. Yeah, I completely agree. Honestly, I think this is one of those moments where you talk about them doing something, falling on their face, and then getting back up. I think they saw probably some of the backlash online of don't get him lost with the LWO. Like, let Penta just go out there and do his own thing. And I agree. I think this is the best way for him to come into this. I also want to say this. This company, I know that he doesn't get enough credit, and I know he doesn't get pushed like he should. But they trust Chad Gable in a way like nobody else because this was done for a reason. Because Chad Gable is one of those guys that can go out there and make me look like an okay wrestler. And I've never gotten the ring in my life. You put him in there with a guy like Penta, and they have a fantastic match like they did tonight. Like, they killed it. And so, I think we ought to look at Chad Gable and give him the respect that he deserves of a guy that this company trusts in a lot of ways to put people over. But yeah, sure. I think this was absolutely the right way to go of bring him in, let him do what he does best, which is wrestle in front of a crowd that, of people that respect him and love him. And then let him just cut a promo that got me ready to run through a brick wall. And and that's exactly what he did. So I loved every second of it.
Yeah, seeing his family at ringside with tears in their eyes, this means so much to them, so much to Penta. I can only imagine. I know I bag on AEW a whole lot, but I say this with all sincerity. I can only imagine what he dealt with trying to leave AEW, or maybe some of the things that he struggled with in AEW. I don't know anything about their backstage politics or whatever, but just the pure emotion on his face and in his voice and on his family's face. There's something there that tonight was a huge weight lifted off their shoulders. So really, really, really cool to see. Dude, his theme music is awesome. His entrance with the fire looks sweet. His presentation was just, they nailed it.
And so they let him keep the moveset. And they let him keep the moveset outside of the package pile driver, which I get because that's in a big storyline right now. I totally get it. But they let him keep the Canadian or Mexican Destroyer, whatever they call it now, and the Penta driver. So I'm happy. I'm very happy they let him keep his moveset.
Yeah, super, super cool. Again, if you're not familiar with Penta, hey, they mentioned Lucha Underground on WWE tonight. You can go back, watch a lot of Lucha Underground. You can see Rey Fenix, who we mentioned earlier, and then go on Max and check out AEW stuff. The Lucha
the Young Bucks.
Yes, I was going to say the ladder match with the Young Bucks from the first Double or Nothing is probably the best tag match that AEW ever put on. Sans, I know you're going to say the Kenny and Hangman and Bucks match, but
I also think Bucks and Dustin and Cody, but that's all right too.
Well, yes, that too. Anyway, go check out that's the most recent Penta stuff that you can go check out. So go check that out. But don't leave here. Stay tuned into our show. Drop your comments, drop your questions, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. We would appreciate it. We got a lot more content to get to. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. If this is your first time on our YouTube channel, you can go check out past episodes. If long form episodes are too much for you, we've got playlists, we've got new school, old school. There's something for everybody on Squared Circle Radio. Go check it out.